Goranga. So, very well, everyone. Let me just bring myself back from space. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande paramananda madhava Shri Guru Dinatarinam. So, Hari Bol, everyone. Hope everyone can hear me okay. So, today we're talking about the birth of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So, we've all been reading the wonderful Leelas from Chaitanya Bhagavat. And it's a wonderful Shastra. I read it many years ago and it changed my spiritual life. And there's some wonderful pastimes behind the Lord's appearance. I've spoken on these before a little bit at the time of Lord Ram. And there's actually a pastime at the time of Lord Krishna, which actually describes one of the reasons behind Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's advent. So, taking Guru Maharaj Prabhupada's blessings, we'll go through that wonderful Leela. So, it was near the time when Lord Krishna was still in the planet in Dwarkapuri, and he was staying there with Rukmani and his queens. And Narad Muni was going around the world, and he was seeing that the advent of Kali Yuga was about to come. It was coming very close. And they're already able to see signs at that time of the advent of Kali Yuga. And it was very apparent to Narad Muni that people in general weren't taking an interest in religious activities. And it's said that people were simply interested in satisfying the needs of the belly and the genitals. That was it. And all they were interested in is lust, anger, envy, jealousy, pride, attachment. And if we look in the human society today, that's all anyone's interested in. People aren't considered successful unless they look to have incredible facility for sense enjoyment. In previous ages, people would be looked upon greatly if they were very educated, were a very religious person, a very good person. But now, great cheaters are praised. Like, look at Donald Trump. He's praised like anything by so many people. Oh, he's such a great leader, such a great leader. He's the biggest cheater around. And so you can see that in Kali Yuga itself, religious virtues are not very well respected. And Narad Muni was seeing this at the time when he actually went around. And what he could see was these symptoms starting to manifest. And he actually became very upset with this. And he thought, what can I do? The only thing I can do is go and speak to the Lord himself. Because Narad Muni was going around everywhere trying to see, is there devotees still around? So when he went to Dwarka, Narad Muni couldn't travel anywhere. In any universe, he can travel. So he went to Dwarka, and there Lord Krishna was there. And it said that Lord Krishna had been spending the night at Satyabhama's palace. And in the morning, he had decided to go to Rukmani Devi's palace. And when Rukmani Devi heard this, she became very, very happy. And she began making preparations for the Lord's wonderful visit. And she was very, very happy and excited that the Lord was going to come. And when the Lord actually came, Lord Krishna came into her palace, she sat him down on a wonderful asan, served him very nicely, and took his lotus feet and put it on her chest. And she started to cry. And she was weeping and weeping. And Lord Krishna looked at her and said, "Why are you crying?" He said that, "Have I done something to upset you?" He goes, "Only once I joked with you. Have you not forgiven me for that?" So there's an instance in Lord Krishna's Leela when Lord Krishna said to Rukmani Devi jokingly, like, "Why are you so dedicated to worshipping me? I'm not interested in any of you queens." The Lord was making a joke. And Krishna says, "I'm just a cowherd boy. I'm interested in the cowherd people in Vrindavan and the gopis." And as Rukmini Devi was fanning, she just went into shock and immediately fainted. And before she could hit the ground, Lord Krishna did a forearm form and caught Rukmini Devi like that. So that's what Krishna was referring to then. "I only joked with you once." And Krishna said to Rukmini, "Haven't you forgiven me for that yet? Is that why you're crying?" And Rukmini Devi understood Krishna was teasing her. And so he said that even though you know the whole world perfectly, you still can't understand the heart and words of one who loves your lotus feet. And when Krishna heard this, he was saying, "Hold on, what is this?" And Rukmini Devi says, "Even though you know everything, you can't understand the heart of your devotee who is attached to your lotus feet." And she said something to Krishna. The Krishna was struck with wonder afterwards. And Krishna actually said to her, Rukmini actually said to Krishna, "If you place in your heart the love Srimati Radharani feels for you, then you will understand your devotee's love for you." And when she said this, Krishna immediately, his attention went up and he said, "What is these words that you've said?" He goes, "Please, you've awakened me. Tell me, what are these words that you've said? Please explain this to me." And Rukmini Devi said that Radharani alone knows the sweetest nectar of love for you. And she alone tastes that bliss. And it said that day and night, hearing of her love, how can the devotees not be filled with wonder? And she said, Brahma and all the demigods and goddesses, including Lakshmi Devi, who serves your lotus feet, are waiting for that nectar. And because she is Lakshmi Devi. And Rukmini Mata said, "I am that goddess Rama." Rama means Lakshmi. "I rest on your chest. I sleep with you in the same bed." It said that on Lord Krishna's chest, there's a mark, a line, which indicates Lakshmi Devi. And Rukmini Mata is saying that, I actually rest on your chest. I sleep with you in the same bed. I see you face to face. Yet I still yearn to attain that sweetness at the lotus feet that Srimati Radharani has. And he said, only Radharani, who enjoyed pastimes with you in Vrindavan, knows the true glory of your lotus feet. Her good fortune never ends. And he said that Krishna is... Hold on, are we having a problem with the volume? Is it low? Sorry, let me put the volume up. Very well, is that better?
Yes, Guruji.
Very well. Is that a bit better? Okay.
Yeah, that's much better. Thank you.
Okay. So, sorry, singing volume was slightly different to giving class volume. So So it's saying that Radharani's virtues actually bind Lord Krishna. And Rukmani Mata says that you're not attracted to any of my virtues or any of the other queens. Those queens of Lord Krishna were at Rukmani Mata's, when Rukmani was supposed to get married to Shishupal, when they brought Rukmani out on the chariot to go to the temple to worship Durga Mata, there were so many kings there. There was Shishupal, so many other big warriors there. And when they saw Rukmani Mata, they didn't think of her as Rukmani Mata. They thought of her as a princess that they wanted to marry. When they saw her, it said that they were dumbstruck at how incredibly beautiful she was. People, the soldiers were just looking. Some of them even falling off their horses. They're all stunned because she was so beautiful. And it said that Krishna wasn't attracted to Rukmani Mata because of her beauty at all. Not at all, because he's Atmaram. He was reciprocating with her because she desired to marry him. Krishna fulfilled her desire. But other than that, Krishna is not attracted by the virtues of Lakshmi Devi. But Srimati Radharani, it said her virtues binds the Lord. And Rukmani Mata said to Krishna, even now you have not turned away from her. Your heart pines for her. The sounds of Radha's name makes tears stream from your eyes. And she said that this shows the power of Radharani's love for your feet. And it said, she said, Lakshmi is the maidservant at your feet. She yearns to serve you. You are her master. But you pay no attention to her glorious virtues. By ignoring her, it is as if you have pushed an iron spear into her heart. This is Rukmani Mata saying that to Krishna, Lord Krishna. So she's saying to Lord Krishna, you need to take on this feeling of Srimati Radharani's love in your heart. And Krishna was struck with wonder at this. He thought, wow, I've never before considered taking the love of Srimati Radharani into my heart and experiencing that. So just as they were having this discussion, Narad Muni happened to, just before that actually, Rukmani said to Lord Krishna, she folded her hands and said, look, O Master, please make me a bumblebee at the lotus flower of your feet. And she said, I fear that you will leave me. Weeping this sinner begs, please do not leave my palace. And Rukmani Mata was saying, I'm both happy that you're here, but I'm also really afraid because I know soon you're going to end up leaving my palace and going somewhere else. So as much as she's attached to the Lord, while the Lord is there, she's fearing. So when she's overcome like this, Krishna comes and he sits close to Rukmani and he sits on his throne and puts Rukmani Mata next to her. And he basically says to her, never has anyone said such wonderful words to me. Never has anyone suggested that I take on this bliss of ecstatic love. So as Lord Krishna was reassuring Rukmani Mata, Narad Muni happened to come. And this is when he came. And immediately Krishna and Rukmani Devi stood up and greeted Shri Narad Muni. And when Lord Krishna saw Narad Muni, he was so happy. He went and actually embraced Narad Muni. And he embraced him so nicely that Narad ended up getting choked up and he was trembling. And tears were coming from his eyes, streaming all over his body. And he said he couldn't say anything because he was so overcome. And Lord Krishna said, look, Narad, please say what's in your heart. Say what you're thinking. And Narad, when he spoke to Lord Krishna and said, look, I'm coming here because I'm really worried about the actual living entities within this world. That in this world, so many people are turning away from you. What will be the benefit for them? How will they actually become engaged in devotional service? And Lord Krishna said, don't worry, I've just literally been having a conversation with Rukmani, and she has actually told me something wonderful. And also, have you forgotten that Goddess Katyayani had vowed to Lord Shiva that in Kali Yuga she would distribute my Mahaprasad and deliver everyone? And he says, so this is going to happen anyway. But literally now, Rukmani has just told me that I should actually taste that spiritual ecstasy. So the Lord said, in Kali Yuga, I will become a humble person, and accompanied by my devotees, I will engage in devotional service. I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, will give everyone ecstatic love for me. I will manifest the Sankirtan movement of chanting my glories and take birth in Mother Sachi's womb in Navadvip. And it's said that Lord Krishna said, I'll manifest a tall form. So Lord Krishna is even saying that, I'll manifest a form that's very tall. Because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was like 7 foot. I don't know if you've been to Bengal, but the devotees aren't that tall. So they're quite short. You can imagine at that time, a 7 foot Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the Lord is saying here, I will manifest a tall, fair form with arms that reach to my knees. With saintly people, you can always tell because they have certain signs on their bodies that they're saintly. And one of them is the hands reach to their knees. My Guru Maharaj used to be like that. He had very, very long arms reaching to his knees. And so speaking like this, the Lord actually transformed into the form of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu right in front of Narad Muni. And he said the Lord looked more brilliant than millions of suns. And Narad Muni, when he saw this form of the Lord, he was so overcome, he couldn't even carry on looking at the Lord. He had to close his eyes because it was such incredible. And it was such an incredible darshan for him. And Krishna said, Narad, open your eyes, open your eyes. And when Narad Muni opened his eyes, that form of Lord Krishna, Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu, had vanished. And he saw again the form of Lord Krishna. And Narad Muni was wishing, he's like, oh, I wish I would have taken darshan more. I want to see that form of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And Lord Krishna told Narad Muni, okay, fine, go visit Lord Shiva, visit Lord Brahma, and actually tell them and all the demigods to take birth in Kali Yuga, because I'm going there and I want to bring all my associates with me. So Narad Muni was so happy, he actually left that palace of Krishna and Rukmani and actually started in a wonderful day thinking of Gauranga Mahaprabhu's form, chanting Gaura, Gaura. And everywhere he was chanting as he went on the way to Lord Shivji's place. And he was such ecstasy, remembering again and again the wonderful form of the Lord. If you take darshan of Asachina Nitai Chand, they're dressed so beautifully and their forms are just so wonderful. Even when we do Pujari service and we bathe the Lord, you see the Lord's form and they're just perfect, absolutely perfect. And Narad Muni was seeing that form of Gauranga Mahaprabhu again and again. And he ended up where Lord Shivji and Parvati were. And coming to Lord Shivji and Parvati, Narad Muni paid his obeisances, and Lord Shiva came and gave him a big hug. And he fell at Katyani Durga Mata's feet, and she treated him just like a son. And she said to Narad Muni, where have you come from? And Narad Muni actually said, I've just come from meeting Lord Krishna. And actually, he was saying that he said to Lord Shivji and told him the whole story. And he reminded Lord Shivji of an event that happened before. And he said that he reminded Lord Shivji and Parvati that many years before, he had visited Uddhav. And Uddhav was staying there, and he was actually at Naimisharanya. And Uddhav had basically said to the Lord, and this is part of Uddhav Gita, he said to the Lord that, look, you're going to leave soon, in a few years. What's going to happen to myself, Uddhav saying, and all of the other devotees? How will they actually become delivered? He said, how will they get that salvation? And it's actually said in Uddhav Gita that he said that those things which are offered to the Lord, like the flower garlands and other items that are offered, including the remnants of the Lord's prasad, if the devotees actually take them, then they'll be delivered. And Uddhav said this to Lord Krishna, it's in Srimad Bhagavatam. And after that, in Krishna's actual presence, Uddhav actually asked for the Mahaprasad from the Lord's plate himself when the Lord was eating. So the Lord actually gave him that Mahaprasad. And Uddhav said to Narad Muni, he goes, I've had that Mahaprasad, so I'm saved. He goes, I've had this. And Narad Muni thought, hold on a second. Uddhav's a great devotee of the Lord, but I'm also the Lord's devotee. How is it that I want to have that Mahaprasad as well? So thinking like this, Narad Muni thought, well, where can I get this Mahaprasad? And he realized if I go to Lakshmi Mata, she every day she serves the Lord Prasad. But the Lord had given her an order, like, you're not to give my Mahaprasad to anyone. So he thought, how can I get around this? So he thought, let me go and serve Lakshmi Devi. So Narad Muni went there, and for 12 years, he served Lakshmi Mata. And after those 12 years of service, he asked Lakshmi Mata, said, I'm very pleased with you. I'd like to give you a boon, ask for anything. And Narad Muni said, I've had a thought in my heart for many years. I would like the Mahaprasad from the Lord's plate. And Lakshmi Mata immediately said, oh, I can't, I'm not allowed to give you this. That I've been specifically told not to give it to anyone. And she said, okay, I'll have to step over the Lord's order and actually give you this Mahaprasad. So soon after that, when she was serving Lord Vishnu Mahaprasad, or Prasad, or Bhoga even, the Lord had eaten, and after the Lord's eating, Lakshmi Mata came before him and looked slightly afraid and was trembling. And Lord Vishnu said, Lakshmi Mata, what's going on? You look upset, you look fearful. And she said, Lord, please protect me. I'm feeling very fearful. And he said, Lord Vishnu looked over at Sudarshan, thinking, have you got something to do with this? And Sudarshan started trembling. And he said, Lord, her fear has got nothing to do with me. You should ask her. And the Lord looked at Lakshmi Mata again and said, why are you fearful? And she explained, Narad Muni served me for the last 12 years, you don't know. And he asked me for this, the remnants. And Lord Vishnu said, yes, but I ordered you not to give the remnants. And Lord Vishnu said, okay, since you've told him, without my knowledge, take the the remnants and give it to Narad. So the Lord gave permission that without his knowledge, Lakshmi Mata can give him the remnants. So Lakshmi Mata took those remnants and actually gave them to Shri Narad Muni. And when Narad Muni ate them, he became so ecstatic, and he said his form started to radiate light like anything, because he took that Mahaprasad of the Lord. And he was dancing and dancing and so joyful. And because Lord Shivji and Narad Muni are like very good friends, he thought, let me go to my friend's house and tell him what happened. So Narad Muni went to see Lord Shiva, and when he got there, Lord Shivji goes, wow, what is this form that you're displaying? It looks so effulgent. How have you manifested this? And when Narad Muni told him everything, he said, I've just had the Maha from the Lord. And just like when some sadhu comes into this, when we go and have the Maha, he said, I just had this Maharaj's Maha. What's the question that you're usually going to get asked by the other person? Well, have you brought any for me? Where's mine? And Lord Shivji said to Narada, this is very nice. Where's my Mahaprasad? And Narad Muni was like, oh, well, I haven't brought any with me. I ate it all. And Narad Muni looked down and he saw that under his fingernail there was a grain of that Mahaprasad. So Lord Shivji saw that, grabbed his finger and took that grain of Mahaprasad and actually ate it. And from eating that Mahaprasad, he became so ecstatic, he started to dance and dance. And as he was dancing on the earth, he started to press the earth. He started to dance in such ecstasy, the earth pressed down into Rasatal. And he said that the whole universe started to press down onto, Anantasheshi's hoods. And the hoods came all the way down and pressed onto Kurmadev. And Kurmadev is a tortoise. And it's a cute description. He says Kurmadev poked his head out of his shell and looked around like, what's happening? How come the universe is coming down onto my back? And he looked at what's going on. He went, oh, okay, I can see what's happening. And Bhumi Devi went to Katyayani Mata, Durga Mata, and said, look, you got to do something. Lord Shivji is destroying me. He's pressing me down into Rasatal. And Durga Mata went to Lord Shiva and she had to disturb his meditation, disturb his dancing. And when she was able to break Lord Shivji out of it, Lord Shivji goes, "Wow, why have you taken me out of this ecstasy? I was dancing so much for the Lord." It's like when we do on Nitya Prabhu's appearance day and Guru Maharaj's appearance day, normally in the temple, devotees are dancing and stuff so like incredibly. We're trying to close the curtains to finish the darshan. You just can't close it because they will keep opening the curtains. So in this way, Lord Shiva said to Caitanya Mata, "Why have you disturbed this ecstasy of mine?" And she said, "Well, what is this form that you've manifested?" Because Lord Shivji's form had become incredible as well. It was glowing, it was effulgent. And he said, "Well, how have you manifested this form? I've never seen it before." And he said that, "Oh, I've had the Lord's Mahaprasad." And if any of you are married, you know that if you ever make anything nice and offer it to the Lord, and Ragi's looking at me now, she's in the same room. If you ever make anything nice and offer it to the Lord, but end up accidentally eating it all yourself, your wife's going to be like, "Where's my part? Did you save any for me?" So Durga Mata became angry. He goes, "You had Mahaprasad?" He goes, "Your vows of looking at me like your other half are obviously fake, because where is the Mahaprasad for me?" And Lord Shivji turned around and said to Caitanya Mata, Durga Mata, "You're not worthy of this Mahaprasad." And Durga Mata became so angry. She said, "I am Vaishnavi. I am the Lord's sister himself. I will show you that not only will I have this Mahaprasad, I'll make sure every single person has a right for this Mahaprasad, even the dogs and jackals." And he said that the Lord Vishnu actually appeared there in front of Durga Mata and Lord Shiva. And he said to Durga Mata, "Please don't be upset, because you are my sister. You are so dear to me. And I will grant your wish, and I will make it so that not only yourself, but everyone is entitled to that Mahaprasad." And this is why in Jagannath Puri, that is that Mahaprasad. That's where the Lord eats. And every single person is entitled to it. So obviously before, when we used to go to Jagannath Puri, we would go there. Some days we'd have prasad in the temple. Some days we'd, "Oh, let's go to Maharaja restaurant," or here, there, and everywhere. Now in the lockdown, being so far away from the dhams and just not able to go there, I think anyone next time when they go to Jagannath Puri, forget no Maharaja, any restaurants. It's going to be go and get as much Mahaprasad as you can. Because honestly, now we're thirsting for it so far away from the holy dhams. So Durga Mata was very happy with this. And the Lord said, "Actually, I'm going to appear as Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So all of you, please go and take birth in Navadvip and surrounding areas to come and do this Sankirtan movement with me." And it said that after that, Narad Muni actually went from Lord Shivji's place to Lord Brahma's place. And when he arrived at Lord Brahma's place, he said Lord Brahma was both happy and fearful to see him. He goes, "For a long time I've been meditating, Shri Narad. I was waiting for you to come and see me." And Lord Narad, when he said to Lord Brahma, he said, "Why were you waiting to see me?" He goes, "You're so great. This whole universe is called Brahmand because of you." Lord Brahma is called Brahmand, this place that Lord Sri Mahaprabhu has, Lord Brahma has created. And he said to the Lord, he said, "Please explain to me. The Lord is going to appear in a Kali Yuga. Where is this actually written?" And Lord Brahma explained that in Srimad Bhagavatam, when Gargamuni was actually doing the name-giving ceremony of Lord Krishna, he said to Yashoda Mata and Rohini Mata that in the previous ages, your son has appeared in a white, red, and yellow form. And in this yoga, he's going to appear in a blackish form. So Lord Brahmadev went through what those forms were. So in Satyayug, the Lord appeared in a white form, and he had matted hair, and he wore tree bark, and his actual name was Hansa in that incarnation. And in Treta Yuga, he appeared in a reddish form, And he was marked with the different emblems of yagya. And he had a reddish form, and he'd carry a yagya stick. And he actually was called Yagya. That was the incarnation of the Lord in Treta Yuga. And in Dvapa Yuga, the Lord appeared in the blackish form of Lord Krishna. So it says in there after that in Kali Yuga, Krishna Varanam Tvisha Krishna Sangopang Astra Parashadam Yagya Sankitana Prayari Janti Sumedasa. This is where that verse comes from. It's in sequence from when it is explaining the Lord appeared in different colors. So the three colors are already used: the white, red, and black. And in Kali Yuga is where the golden form is coming. So it's actually written in Srimad Bhagavatam. It says that the Lord will appear in this golden form. So this is the appearance of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. It's actually written there. Gauranga, when he said about this, your son appears in 4 different forms, 4 different yugas. So this is the prologue to the wonderful appearance of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. If anyone claims, oh, this such and such person is the incarnation of the Lord, you always have to look, where is it written in the scripture? Or so many unscrupulous people can claim to be an incarnation of the Lord. So I think we're out of time. So I hope you enjoyed this wonderful pastimes of the Lord and a little introduction to the birth of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu in this world. And is there any questions? Is the host anywhere to be seen? Let's have a look at the... Okay, it doesn't look like there's any questions. So I'd like to end there. So Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Haribol, what a wonderful lecture. And every time the disclosure